Welcome to Point to Rise, your podcast that gives you permission to dream big, take messy action, and turn your talent into profit while turning your back on perfection. My name is Susanne, high performance and mindset coach, former international ballerina, profitable entrepreneur, and founder of Point to Rise, a movement designed to empower dancers. It is my mission to use my own story as an inspiration for today's generation of dancers. And now sit back, stretch, warm up, or sip your coffee and love learning how much it matters to point at yourself first to rise to all that you are capable of. Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee Chat with Susanne and Christy. Susanne here. Third week in a row, and I have some news for you. So moving forward, I will be the only one hosting this episode on the Point to Rise podcast, and I'm going to make it a little bit more about business and habits of people that are successful in business. And I will be drawing the parallel between business and arts a little bit, not a little bit, more consciously, and definitely choose topics that have that topic, business and arts, as an intention. So with that said, we're sending Christy so much love. Thank you for being here. I fairly enjoyed my time with you every week. And moving forward, well, let's start with my topic today, and that is habits of billionaires. Now, if you're set off, if this is bothering you, good, because it used to bother me. Why would I actually look at people that have millions or billions in their bank account? Because I don't want to be like them. I had the assumption that people like that are bad, and they only got there because they did sleazy things. They were mean to other people. Success, or this kind of success, always, that was my story, always was linked to something unfaithful, or they hurt other people in order to get their kind of belief. Until I started self-development, until I met Lori and Chris Harder, for me, they were really successful people, and they were the kindest people I've ever come in contact with. And I mean, kind as in so honest and so coming from a place of serving, that I started to rewriting my stories. And I started to look at, so if they can, why can't I? And what does it really take? Does it really take all the bad things that I had in my mind were needed to become highly successful, to be in that kind of millionaire, billionaires club? Or are there other ways that actually have gotten them? Are there ways that I don't see yet, that I'm not willing to see yet, that people actually gotten there? And then the next question is, why are performing artists not there? Why do we believe that being an artist equals struggling? Because that's the story. That's what has been going around for centuries. Well, I'm telling you, it's time to rewrite that story. It's time to really look at how can we build that bridge? We're not that different. We're just human beings serving other human beings and offering them a product. And how we're doing that might be a little different than others. But other than that, it's just the same. We're not this elite, out of this world, transcendent being that can't put their feet on the ground and adapt what other people do. We can't do that. All we have to do is open up our mind and our eyes and see that there is a huge bridge that we can walk over and see what we can take out of the normal world. I'm putting that in air quotes. This is what I always believed. It's like, oh, this is what normal people do? Interesting. I think it's time that we see ourselves as just like everybody else. Yes, we're all special, but then we're also part of a huge community. All right, let's get into habits of people that are highly successful. Okay. So number one habit that they all have, and I'm looking at like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Warren Buffett's habits. They all read. They read either in the morning, 20 minutes. Elon wakes up early. He regularly reads. It's one of his habits. And Warren Buffett actually in a post that I saw, or in a short clip, he actually said that he reads 6 hours a day. Can you believe that? Like they're dedicating time to learning, and not just a little bit of time. They're dedicating a lot of time to learning. And having that learner's mindset is what sets them apart, meaning never standing still, as in, oh, not that I've done enough, but always having that open mind to that there is more that they can acquire in terms of knowledge, right? And knowledge is what we can fall back on when we want to do new things that will enable us to be creative, that is enabling us to see new things, to come up with, well, look at all three of them, what they have created, right? And that falls back into actually having the ability to have a certain pot pool of knowledge to fall back on. So number one habit, read every single day. So number two, I would say, is definitely, when I look at this here, decision making. And all three of them do not spend a lot of time on decision making. They decide very, very quickly. That's something that I definitely also learned, and I am not there yet, quite honestly. Making a decision for me is something that I struggle with quite often, because I like to weigh both sides. It's like, is this right? Is this not right? What I do see is that people in that kind of world are making decisions really quickly. And let me draw the parallel, right? Like when we're looking at arts organizations, when you're really, really honest with yourself, are you able to make quick decisions? Can you just look at a menu and say, I'm going to have this? Or are you taking a lot of time in making a decision? With making quick decisions, we give ourselves more time to put our intention somewhere else. And let me ask you that question. Isn't it exhausting making or being confronted with making a decision that you can't make a decision, or you feel like you should be spending more time on? Like you spend a lot of brain energy, a lot of physical energy on making decisions, and they're conserving the energy by making really, really quick decisions, which allows them to put energy somewhere else, into creativity, in solving problems, in asking better questions, in serving people, in recovery, what else, and whatever that may look like, into learning, for example, right? So second habit of very successful people is to make really, really quick decisions. Number three, I'm seeing here is to really be conscious about how much they're resting. So building into, it says here in this little graphic that I have in front of me, that Jeff Bezos, for example, is dedicated to 8 hours of sleep a night. Elon, he always makes sure that he has enough for himself. So this is something that is super important. And can we just really look at and be honest with our self-performing artists? Are you really resting enough? Are you giving yourself enough time to rest? And if you've listened actually to Tuesday's episode, where I really in detail go into the importance of resting, and how we actually not putting much effort in planning out resting, or not the same amount of effort into resting that we're putting into what it takes for us to show up on stage. That is one of very successful people's habits that they have really adapted, that they understand that resting is just as important as success or working hard or hustling or however you want to call it. Actually, let me reframe that. Resting is part of their path to success. So that's number 3, resting. Number 4, envisioning their future, meaning, so I'm going to take my own spin on this. And when I see envisioning a future, for me personally, is that, okay, I'm 2 people, I'm running 2 businesses, meaning the one that I'm in right now, the person that I am right now, and then who I want to be in 3 months, 6 months, a year, in 5 years. Where do I want to be? And really have a path in front of me, which I am able to pivot very easily, but also know, what am I doing every day? Where is my intention going every single day in order to get there? What is it that I'm committed to every single day in order to get there? So let's say your goal is you want to be on Broadway. So what does that mean? What does that mean from a loving place? That, you know, what does that mean for you? What's on your agenda on a daily basis in order to get yourself there, for example? Question mark. I'm going to leave this right here. So really, really have a vision of your life. Have it as detailed as hourly interactions, hourly processes, habits that you are putting into place that will get you where you want to go. And there's no and. That's it. Yeah. So that was number 4, I believe. And last but not least, what I am saying here is that besides really waking up early in the morning. Now, let me back up, because I have been on both sides of the spectrum when we're talking about waking up early. And I'm not taking this into number 5 here. This is just a side note. I would say waking up early for me was super hard in the beginning. And I struggle with waking up early in the winter months, because I have learned about myself that daylight for me is the indicator for my body to either rise or not. Okay. And it's easier for me to wake up at either 4:30 or 5 in the summer months, where right now it's just not happening. I am grumpy pants all day long if I get up early. The only time I really get up at that time is when either in the summer or my body wakes me up naturally. But right now, for example, I am in a season where my body requires more sleep. So instead of fighting against that, I'm actually leaning into that and allowing myself to do that, because there is a higher reason for that. Okay. Backing up. And then, you know what, particularly for performers, that when you are on stage until 11 p.m. and you are not finding rest before 1 or 2, I would not recommend that you're getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning. You need your 8 hours of sleep. But then what does the day look like from, let's say, 8 or 9 a.m. moving forward? Like, are you hitting the snooze button 4 times, or do you have a regular routine in place in the morning that sets you up for the new day? Question mark. I want to leave this right here. So besides that, I would say that they have very, very, very clear boundaries on who they're interacting with and what kind of people they're letting in their life, who they're learning from. So that is definitely something that is so important. And let me tell you, I am learning every single day that you get to choose who is in your life and who isn't, but that the people in your life are so important in terms of where your mind is, where you're putting your energy, and you want to be very, very selective about that. So for example, if you are putting your energy into perhaps pleasing people in your life, by, let's say, showing up when you don't want to, or you don't actually have the time nor the brain energy to deal with wherever they're at, you're not doing yourself a favor. This is not where you should putting your energy, right? So be very, very selective with your time and who and what you're spending your time on. So there you go. 5 habits, 5 things that successful people, and I'm looking here at billionaires on what they're doing. However, that doesn't mean that we can't adopt it. In fact, the reason why, let's say, performing artists are starving, why the starving mentality is still something that is so, I don't know, harped on, believed in, is because we believe that we can't be billionaires. We believe that I can't make that kind of money. But then let's look at your habits. Like, let's look at what you're actually doing every single day. And what would it look like if you would change some of these things? What would it look like if you make learning a daily habit in your life? Would that actually mean that you're spending less time on comparing yourself? Would that mean you would actually spend less time of blaming everybody else where you're at? And would that feed your mind with the right energy that you then put out and attract different people in your life, people that actually then align with you, that you don't have to push yourself around and please and maybe show them that you're worthy of dancing or singing in that role or in that part? And that for me, and even if this is not, I don't think it is quite ripe yet for me to come out, but I'm going to go. I just went there instinctively because I truly believe this whole lack mentality in performing artists is the reason why so little actually make a really good living at it. And I think that we can change that. And that change starts with every single one of us, every single one that is willing to really take an honest, hard look at what they're doing and comparing it to really high achieving people, and not judging them and saying, oh, they're lucky and they've had this and this. No, we all have this ability, even performing artists. So let's get after it. Let's do it. Let's get messy. We are putting on another New York City networking event, only that we're actually changing it into a workshop for performing artists. So Rachel and I really believe that in order to serve this community better and better and better, is that we're going to put this on every month and be really, really focused on how we can serve you better. So I'm putting this out here. We will be in New York either on the 14th or the 21st of November. We would like to know from you what date actually works best for you. It's going to be in person, meaning that we only have 20 spots available this time. Yeah, please let us know. You can DM me right after you listen to this podcast, or you can just DM Rachel. Just let us know with the date 14 or 21, or you can text it to my phone number that's in the show notes. I wish I would know it off the top of my head. Hang on 1 second and I will have it for you. It is a 310-349-3873. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to text 310-349-3873, either a 14 or a 21. That's all you have to do. And then we know which date you prefer. One more time, 310-349-3873. Okay, my loves, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please share it with somebody else. Rate it or review it. This is how we grow. This is how we can make this platform bigger, and I can get better guests for you as well. All right, sending you so much love. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If this message resonates with you, please pass it on to someone who needs to hear this right now. And if you like what you've heard, your feedback will go a very long way. If you just take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review, that would mean the world to me. Till next time, point at yourself to rise to all that you are capable of.